So I'm here today with Lisa Taylor from Challenge Factory. Lisa, thanks for being here.
It's my pleasure.
Now, Lisa's got an interesting business. Would you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. Challenge Factory is a company that's built off a big idea, which basically says longevity means we're going to be working longer, and that's not a bad news story. So we work with people who are successful but not satisfied and know that they're looking to do something next for the next 10, 15, 20 years, even if they're in their 50s and 60s.
And so you in particular are interested in women who are 50 plus, who are looking at possibly doing a career change into small businesses. So they have worked for other companies, now they might be looking at starting their own business. That's a pretty risky thing, isn't it?
Well, you know, it's all about balancing risk and reward. Making that kind of decision to be a business owner is risky for anyone if you haven't properly planned. But women over 50 are the fastest growing cohort of entrepreneurs here and in the US. And it's really an amazing trend. And it makes perfect sense. They've had families, they've done their initial career, and now they really want to find a legacy career that's going to be meaningful for them, that's going to carry them through and give them the lifestyle that they're looking for.
And we've read too, of course, that women, when they're in business, maybe don't grow quite as quickly as their male counterparts, but they tend to be more stable and stay in business and have a higher success rate. What's your experience in particular with the 50 plus age group?
I think it really depends on what industry and what background everyone comes from and what skills they bring to the table. I find that women, especially that are over 50, they know themselves. They may not know exactly what steps they want to take or what possibilities are out there, but they know themselves and they really have a good understanding of what it is that's going to meet their needs. They need a little help trying to figure out how to match that up with their passion and their talent and the impact that they want to make in the world around them.
And can you comment on the difference between franchise opportunities versus starting your own business? Is there a preference one way or another in your experience?
Again, I think it really comes down to each individual person's needs. So a franchise opportunity obviously gives you a system, it gives you a team, it gives you marketing support, it gives you all the kind of help to get you through that initial stage. But with it also comes constraints and policies. And so there's a trade-off to be made there. I think the key question for anyone who's looking to start a business, but especially women 50 plus, is to really identify what is it that I need? What are the specific things I'm hoping to get out of this business? And then to evaluate the models once you know your criteria. To start with what business should I go into first is often an easier way to approach it, or it seems a more logical first step, but it leads you down paths where you're evaluating options that never really met your needs in the first place.
That's excellent advice. So tell me, I'm a brand new wannabe business owner. I am a woman who is 50 plus. What are the top tips you have for me to turn my dream into reality and to be successful? Because I don't want to lose my nest egg.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point. We at Challenge Factory really believe that passion as a strategy sets you up for failure. So it is really important that you're passionate about what you do, but simply following your passion isn't a strategy for business success. Instead, it's really taking a business approach and a personal approach that balances four things. What do you need? And really, what do you need? How many hours? What lifestyle? How much money? What types of things do you need? What kind of team? What kind of environment? What do you need? What do you love? So passion fits into this here. What do you love to do and where do you love to spend your time? Talents is the third. What are you good at? And not skills that you've learned, things that are innate to you, things that you can see out in the world and you say, why can't that person do that? It's so simple. That's because that's your talent. So what are your talents and what impact do you want to make in the world? And the impact that you want to make in the world is important first because it feels good to do something that's meaningful. But second, if you're making an impact, it means that someone on the receiving end is saying that that's valuable. And that's the definition. That's the difference in definition between a career and a hobby. And you want to make sure that you're pursuing a career and not a hobby if that's what you're aiming to do. The last tip I would have, so that's 4 areas to consider. The last tip is to take all the yeah buts that are in your head. Yeah, but I'm too old. Yeah, but who's going to hire me? Yeah, but I've never run a business. Yeah, but I've never been in that industry. Take all those yeah buts, write them down in a list so that you get them out of your head, and then look to figure out how you can create a statement around what you would need. Yeah, but I'm too old. I need this to be something that values my experience. Yeah, but I've never worked in that industry. I need something that doesn't require industry experience. Go one by one, and you'll find your objections all of a sudden become things you can take action with.
Yeah, I was actually just helping a friend who's a 50-plus woman. She was considering buying an existing business, and she had all those yeah buts. And so I said, write every single one of them down. When you do the interview with the owner to go through the details, answer them. And also I suggested that she give herself a minimum. So in other words, if she needed to have a certain amount of profit per year, write it down. Does it meet it or doesn't it? And then it kind of takes out the emotion on the buying or the startup decision.
So many times people forget that making decisions is about criteria. And if you don't have the criteria you're going to weigh your decision against, it can feel out of control. So if you're feeling out of control, or if women are feeling out of control about how they're going to make a decision or take that next step, being really clear about what the criteria is that they're going to use is immensely helpful.
So, final question. Can you share with us a case study of a woman who was 50 plus, who you've worked with, and who's gone from working in a corporate career into running her own business?
Sure. Actually, I'll give you an example of someone who's been in a number of different environments. So this client, her name is Susan. She was a professor. She was a professor of French literature and a real solid academic. And then she had her children and stayed home for their teenage years in order to shepherd them through everything that was going on at home as they were going to all of their different competitive sporting and helping with academics and also managing things that were going on in her own family. So when she came to us, she'd been out of the workforce for about a decade. And her youngest child had just gone on to post-secondary education and was no longer at home. And she had realized that she really had no interest in returning to academic life and wasn't sure what it was that she wanted to do next. So in working with us, she was able to identify that there is an entire professionalized career that exactly meets her sweet spot, her passion, her needs, her talent, and the impact she wants to make. And that was in the area of volunteer management. Through Challenge Factory, she went out on a one-day test drive where she got to spend a day in the life of the volunteer manager at Credit Valley Hospital in Mississauga, Ontario, and learned in her gut that that is what she wants to do. She then went to school for a 3-month program at a local college and is now a professional volunteer manager in the healthcare sector.
Okay, that's great. Well, Lisa, thank you so much for taking a few minutes to talk to us. And, congratulations, too, on being a nominee for it's called now, the RBC Canadian Woman Entrepreneur of the Year Awards, I believe.
That's right. Well, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Okay, thanks.